Hey everybody, my name's Torry Cook. I'm with MFK Game Calls, and today I wanted to take a minute to give you some tips that I think may help you with your diaphragm howling. That's something I get a lot of questions on. In particular, how to get the smooth, long, lone howls. That's one of the main calls you'll use when howling in codes. So what we're going to talk about is how to tune the call. And this will shorten the learning curve for somebody that's just getting started, and I think it'll also help out some of you more advanced callers that are already pretty good at using a diaphragm, but may can still clean it up a little bit or get even better than what you are right now. And I think these tips will help you accomplish that. So we'll jump right into it. One of the things I get, like I said, the most questions on is how to do the smooth, long howls. People will send me a message and they say, hey, I'm getting a pitch break in my howl, or I'm getting vibrations or buzzing noises in my lone howls that I don't like, and I don't know how to fix it. So what can I do? And there are several ways to go about fixing this. One is just continue to use the call. It will adjust to the amount of tongue pressure that you're using eventually. It's kind of a break-in process. Another way is to learn how to use your tongue, how to apply more or less pressure with your tongue when it's needed. And that's something that takes time, it takes practice. You will eventually get more muscle memory in your tongue will become stronger, you will be better at using your tongue to manipulate those reeds and get the good sounds out of the call that you're looking for and those consistent tones that you're looking for. But again, that takes time. So a lot of us want to pop the call right out of the box and sound good right off the bat. So I'm going to try to help you accomplish that by shortening that learning curve, by tuning the call to fit the way you blow the call rather than you trying to change the way you blow the call. Because most people have a comfort zone when they have a particular way they want to run the call, or that they're going to try to run the call. Meaning that they have a certain amount of air pressure they're going to use and a certain amount of tongue pressure they're going to use. It's what's comfortable to them right off the bat. And until they practice a lot, they're going to run the call that way until they learn to make those air and tongue pressure adjustments. So we're going to try to compensate for that by tuning the call to better fit the way you blow the call. And since everybody's a little different, that's what's good about being able to tune the call. Everybody can make slight adjustments to suit the way that they want to run the call. So let's go ahead and jump right into that. First, we'll address pitch breaks. So pitch breaks is typically when you're trying to do a howl and all of a sudden you hit a high-pitched note out of nowhere. Sometimes it'll be in the middle, sometimes it's at the end, but it'll be a squeak or a high-pitch break in the sound that's unwanted. Sometimes pitch breaks are good, but for doing certain sounds like your more aggressive howling, but those are pitch breaks that we're purposely putting in at a certain time. So for unwanted pitch breaks, what that means is you're using too much tongue pressure or the reeds of the call are too tight. They're basically one and the same. So there's two ways to fix that. Either you learn to reduce your tongue pressure and be better with your tongue control, or we need to take some of the tightness out of the reeds. And it's going to be easier to take a little bit of the tension off the reeds than it is for you to learn to blow the call differently. So we'll tune the call to accommodate the tongue and air pressure that you're using and try to clean those pitch breaks up. The way we want to do that is the call has a U-shaped aluminum frame under the tape. You can bend it. And if you bend it too far, you can bend it back the other way. So don't worry about breaking the call. What we want to do is turn the call sideways. We're going to pinch the call with our teeth towards the back. You could also do it with your hands if you want to, but I typically just stick the call in my mouth. Right at the back of the horseshoe, I pinch the call between my teeth and give it a slight bend. And when I say slight, I'm talking slight. You just barely want to bend it, the width of a frog's hair, just a little. Turn it the other way, same thing. Pinch the call, bite it, bend it just a little. Then what we're going to do is we're going to pop that call back in our mouth, and we're going to howl on it and call on it for 2 or 3 minutes and see if it changed. If you were getting pitch breaks before, hopefully this adjustment has either moved the pitch break to a different spot in the howl. Say it was in the middle, we've moved it more towards the end, or if we've moved it enough, we've taken the pitch break completely out and we're done. You know, we've made that adjustment. But let's say we put it back in our mouth and we howl for 2 or 3 minutes, we're still getting a pitch break. We're going to do the same thing again, bend it a little bit more. It's going to loosen those reeds a little bit. You're going to be calling with the same amount of tongue pressure, so when we put the call back in, these reeds are going to be a little looser. You're going to howl on it again. When you get it right, your pitch break should be gone. You should lose the pitch break and be able to do a lone, smooth, continuous note that tapers off with no pitch breaks throughout. Now, the other problem that I'll hear people talk about is they'll say, hey, I'm getting vibrations or buzzing sounds in my howl. This is typically not as big an issue as pitch breaks, but it does happen on occasion. So what that means is exactly the opposite of pitch breaks. Your reeds are too loose, or you're not calling with enough tongue pressure. So again, we can either learn to be better with our tongue and apply more pressure or less pressure when needed, or we can compensate for that and not change what we're doing with our mouth, but change the call. So if you're getting buzzing sounds, I said it means the reeds are a little bit too tight. What we want to do is just the opposite of what we did a while ago. We're going to put the call in our mouth and we're going to flatten it out more to tighten those reeds. If the call is completely flat and you're still getting buzzing sounds, you probably are new with calling and just not putting enough tongue pressure on it. You do have an option there as well, and that would be to grab the front end, the very front open end of the horseshoe, and put a little tension there, put a little more pressure. This is not something you typically want to do, but it is an option if you can't get the buzzing out any other way. A better fix for that is learn to use the call a little bit more efficient and apply a little more tongue pressure. But those are 2 ways to tune the call to get smoother, better sounding howls. And again, on the buzzing, it's the same process. When you pop the call back in after you make your adjustments, give it 2 or 3 minutes to adjust, make sure what your adjustments have done, and then repeat the process until you get that call to do what you want it to do. This call is a brand new call that I built last night. When I first took this call out of the box, I could produce lone, smooth howls on it, no problem, but I did notice that I was having to adjust my tongue pressure throughout the howl, and that's something that's hard for people that hadn't got the muscle control with their tongue. Basically, they're not good with their tongue yet as far as running the call. So, you know, if I had howled with the same amount of tongue pressure throughout, I could tell that the call would pitch break on me towards the end of the call. I could tell it had a tendency to squeak. So what I did was pop it in. You can see, maybe you can see, it has a little slight bend in it. Sometimes I call with my call completely flat. Sometimes they'll have a little bend in them. I just adjust them so that they sound the best they can possibly sound when I'm calling with them. So I put a little slight bend in it, pop the call back in my mouth. Perfect. No pitch break. Sounds great. I can do whatever I want to with this call, howl with confidence, and you know, just get down on it. So those are some tips that I think may help you out, whether you're a beginner and learning how, or if you're already an advanced caller and are pretty good. You know, I've been howling with diaphragms for a long time, and I still make adjustments with the call just to make me sound a little better. And you know, that's what you want to do. You want this call to fit you as best it possibly can, and then you also want to learn to use your tongue and your mouth to manipulate that call as well, and you'll be able to produce sounds that, like our motto or our slogan says, sounds better, kills more. That's the goal. So there you go. I'll leave y'all with just a few howls, let you see what it sounds like. This particular howler is one that we just released today. It's brand new out on the website. It's called the MFK Howling Mofo. I'll howl on it a few times and leave you with that. But if y'all took the time to watch this video, I appreciate it. I hope it helped you out some kind of way. And to check out any of our other instructional videos or any of our hunts, just subscribe to the YouTube channel, MFK Game Calls. There's a ton of information on there and a whole lot of killing. So as always, appreciate y'all watching.